Have you ever found yourself stuck, thinking endlessly about what someone said or did? Maybe a friend, a family member, or even a stranger. Why do we sometimes let these thoughts take over our mind? What if there's a way to stop this endless thinking and find peace instead? Imagine this. You meet someone who upset you, and for days you keep going over their words again and again. How much energy does that waste? How much happiness can it steal from your life? Welcome to Wisdom Woven. Here, we explore simple yet powerful ideas that can change your life. If you want to understand your mind better and live more peacefully, you're in the right place. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps us going and helps us share more valuable wisdom with people like you. Overthinking about others is something many of us do without realizing how much it hurts. When we focus too much on what someone else does or what their intentions might be, it traps our minds in worries and doubts. This kind of thinking often brings more pain than answers. It's like holding on to a hot coal, expecting it to burn someone else, but ending up hurting yourself. Our minds get caught in a web of what-ifs and maybe they think this or that. But the truth is, thinking too much about anyone can stop us from being happy and calm. Buddhism offers deep insights into why this happens. It teaches us that much of our suffering comes from attachment, holding tightly to ideas, people, or feelings. When we cling to what others say or do, we give our peace away. This video will explore why overthinking about others traps us and how Buddhist wisdom can guide us to let go. Stay with us, and you'll learn practical ways to free your mind and live with more joy and calm. Part 2. What is overthinking? Its roots and meaning sit quietly. Maybe you have a warm tea or you're just sitting with your breath. Let's talk, just you and me. Humans think that's what makes us special, but sometimes our minds turn this gift into a trap. Overthinking is when your thoughts circle round and round, long after they are useful. You replay events in your mind. You imagine conversations that may never happen. You worry about the past and try to predict the future endlessly. Have you ever caught yourself doing this? Most of us do, and we do it more often than we like to admit. Overthinking can feel like the mind is a river in flood. Water tumbling over itself, never calm, never clear. Imagine you had a small bowl and you put some water in it. If the water is still, you can see your reflection, but stir it too much and you can't see anything at all. Overthinking makes the mind cloudy, just like that bowl. Let's look closer. What does it mean to overthink about someone? Suppose a friend did not message back. Right away, your mind starts creating stories. Maybe they are upset with me. Did I say something wrong? Maybe they don't want to be my friend anymore. From a single silence, your thoughts spiral into a huge mountain of worry. But did your friend say anything to make you feel this way? No, it's only your mind doing work that isn't real or helpful. This is overthinking. In Buddhism, we see the mind as a monkey, jumping from branch to branch, never satisfied, always restless. The monkey mind loves to overthink. It jumps around, invents stories, makes us anxious and unhappy. Why does the mind do that? Because it wants to protect you, to prepare you for every possible trouble. This was useful long ago, when danger was everywhere. But these days, it often only brings us pain. Pause a moment, take a slow, deep breath. Listen to how busy your mind can be. Pay attention without judgment. Just notice the thoughts spinning around. Are they helping you right now? Or are they just noise making your heart heavy? Many people believe thinking through problems is wise, but there is a big difference between reflection and overthinking. Reflection means learning from experience, growing, and letting go. Overthinking is like chewing old gum. No new flavor, just tired jaws and frustration. Why do we often overthink about others and not about ourselves? Sometimes it's easier to imagine reasons for someone else's actions than to look closely at our own worries or sadness. Humans by nature are social. We want to be liked, understood, and connected. When someone does or says something unexpected, our mind wants to fill in the blanks. We create stories, hoping it will protect us from being hurt or left out. But think, have these stories ever actually protected you? Or do they just lead to more fear and misunderstanding? Buddha taught that suffering comes from not seeing things as they truly are. Overthinking creates false pictures in the mind, disguising reality and making us suffer in ways we don't even notice. Sometimes overthinking starts small. Maybe you're waiting for someone. Minutes pass. Your thoughts start small. Are they running late? Then bigger. Did I do something wrong? After some time, your thoughts invent even bigger stories. Maybe they don't care at all. By the end, you are upset, simply because the mind created an entire storm from a tiny drop. Zen masters teach that the mind is like a wild horse. If you let it run everywhere, you lose your peace. If you gently guide it back, to your breath, to this moment, to what is real, the wild horse slowly quiets. Over time, you learn to ride calmly through life, not being thrown around by every thought. But how does overthinking feel in your body? Have you noticed it? It often brings tired eyes, a tight chest, headaches, and a body that just cannot rest. Overthinking doesn't just tire your mind, it makes your whole life feel heavy. Zen teaches us, let go of thoughts and the world becomes light again. Let's look at a very simple example. Imagine a child playing with sand on the beach. The waves come and go, but the child only builds, laughs, and lets the water wash away their work. No worries, no future plans, no past regrets, just playing. Children do not overthink. They act freely, fully here and now. Overthinking is something we learn with age, picking up the habits of worry, doubt, and analysis. One day, a student asked a great Zen master, "Master, how can I stop thinking so much?" The master simply replied, "When you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. When you sit, sit." That's it. The master meant, do one thing at a time. Focus on what you are doing, not on what might happen or what has happened. This simple advice is powerful, although not always easy at first. Remember, overthinking often comes because we want to control outcomes. We want to make sure nothing bad happens. We want people to think well of us. We want to avoid loneliness or failure. But the more we try to control, the more we suffer. Buddhism teaches about letting go. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the need for perfection. Let go of mind stories. The less you try to grip your life tightly, the less it slips through your fingers. Every time you notice yourself overthinking, take it as a gentle bell ringing. Come back, the bell tells you. Come back to this moment, to your body, to your breath. What do you need right now? Are your thoughts helpful or are they just noise? Zen says, befriend your mind, but don't let it boss you around. Now you might ask, is it possible to stop overthinking forever? Even Zen masters have wandering thoughts. The difference is, a master does not chase after every thought. When thoughts come, they notice, smile, and gently bring their attention back to the present. A beautiful Buddhist image shows the mind as a clear blue sky, and thoughts are like birds. Birds come and go, but the sky remains open and peaceful. You are the sky, not the birds. You do not have to follow every bird flying by. Take another deep breath. Notice your feet on the ground. Feel the world around you. This is reality. The stories in your head are only stories. Let's go even deeper and ask, why does overthinking hurt so much? Because it takes us away from living, from the present. Instead of speaking honestly or acting kindly, we get lost in theories and guesses. We stop trusting ourselves. In Zen, we believe there is a simple wisdom within everyone. When you overthink, you cover up that wisdom with doubts. It's okay to think. It's human. When the thinking becomes sticky, when it's hard to let go, that's the time to pause, to make space, to notice. When you are aware, even if the thoughts return, you can choose not to engage with them. Instead, you can watch them drift by. Try this. When a thought about someone keeps coming back, say gently in your mind, "Thank you, thought, but I do not need you now." Bring your attention back to your breath or to the activity in front of you. This is how we begin to train the mind, not by fighting thoughts, but by not feeding them. Buddha once told his followers, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." If you always feed thoughts of worry and doubt, life feels heavy. If instead you feed thoughts of peace, kindness, and understanding, over time your life becomes lighter, your mind calmer. Zen masters have a favorite saying, "Let go or be dragged." If you hold on to every thought, worry, and imagined scenario, life will feel like it is dragging you. But if you can let go, even just for a moment, you may discover a space inside you that is still, a quiet place that cannot be shaken by what others say or do. Let us end this talk with another story. A monk carried a heavy bag up a mountain. He was tired, exhausted, but kept going. Another monk saw him and asked, "Why don't you put down your burden even for a moment?" The tired monk laughed, put down his bag, and felt the world lighten instantly. You too can put down the heavy bag of overthinking, even if just for a little while. With awareness and gentle practice, the mind becomes less crowded, less pushy, less wild. Step by step, your life can return to a natural calm. In the next part, we will see how Buddhist teachings can help us understand our thoughts and create more distance from overthinking. But for now, simply notice, you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are visitors in your house. They come and go. You are the calm space they pass through. Thank you for sitting with me through this gentle explanation. Your journey toward a calm, clear mind has already begun. Just by noticing and understanding what overthinking is. Breathe, be gentle with yourself. The way of Zen is not about rushing, but about simply seeing and being here, now. When you're ready, move to the next part with a single step, light and calm. Let's settle in once more. Imagine we're sitting together in a quiet garden, breathing slowly, and all the rush of life is far away. Picture the soft morning light, the gentle sound of birds, and the peacefulness of the present moment. As your Zen master, I will guide you into part 3, the Buddhist perspective on thought and attachment. You might have wondered why our minds create so many thoughts about other people, why we cling to every word, every look, every action. It's as if we are gripped by something visible yet invisible, pulled into stories that may not even be true. Buddhism explores this mystery deeply. The Buddha saw that the mind is always busy, always weaving tapestries of thought and always searching for something to hold on to. But why? And can we find peace within this busy mind? Let's begin slowly with the very foundation. In Buddhism, the mind is not seen as the enemy. Rather, it is a helpful tool that, when untamed, causes us suffering. The Buddha taught, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. This means that your thoughts shape your feelings, your moods, even your actions. But these thoughts, left alone, are like wild weeds. They grow without control, crowding out the flowers of peace. What does it mean to attach to thoughts about someone? Imagine you see a friend speaking warmly to someone else. You suddenly feel jealous. Thoughts arise. Maybe they like the other person better. Maybe I'm not good enough. These thoughts stick. You believe them. You replay them in your mind. You start to act differently around your friend, maybe colder or more distant. But what happened in reality? Just two people talking. Your suffering, your confusion, comes not from the event, but from the thoughts and the meaning you attach to it. Buddhism calls this attachment, the habit of holding on tightly to our thoughts and feelings, letting them become our reality. It's not only about attachment to things, but to ideas, to outcomes, to the way we want life to be. Every time we attach to a thought, they should like me best. They shouldn't ignore me. I must be important. We build a cage, brick by brick, around our hearts. One of the most beautiful teachings in Buddhism is about impermanence. Nothing lasts forever, not feelings, not weather, not friendships, not even our thoughts. Everything passes, but when we attach to our thoughts, we act as if they are permanent. I will always feel excluded. This problem will never go away. Yet everything, just like clouds in the sky, changes with time. Let's use a simple example. Imagine holding a butterfly in your hand. You want to keep it because it is beautiful. But if you close your fingers tight, you hurt the butterfly and it cannot fly. The more you try to hold on, the more suffering you cause. Thoughts are like butterflies. If you let them come and go naturally, they bring beauty and lightness to your mind. If you grab them and try to keep them, you cause yourself pain. Many people ask, how can I stop attaching to every thought about others? The answer in Buddhism is not to fight the mind, not to push thoughts away, but to notice them gently with a soft awareness. The Buddha likened the mind to a clear pool of water. If the water is muddy, you cannot see your reflection. But if you let the mud settle, slowly the water becomes clear. Similarly, when you notice your thoughts but do not run after them, your mind becomes more peaceful. You might say, but I can't help it. My mind jumps everywhere. That's true. This is called the monkey mind. Always restless, always grabbing new ideas, swinging from one thought to another. Buddhism teaches to watch the monkey, not to fight it. Imagine you are on the bank of a river and your thoughts are leaves floating by. One after another, they pass. You do not have to jump into the river to chase after each leaf. Just watch gently without needing to do anything. Why do we attach so deeply to thoughts about other people? What they think, what they feel about us, what their actions mean. Buddha explained it is because of the illusion that we are separate, that we must protect our ego or image. We want to be seen in a certain way, to be liked, to be loved, to feel important. When someone acts unexpectedly, it shakes our sense of self. Our attachment grows, and this creates suffering. In Zen, we practice letting go. Imagine putting down a backpack after carrying it for hours. The relief you feel is the same relief the mind feels when it stops clinging to every thought about others. You do not lose anything by letting go. What is true, what is real, will remain. Another teaching from Buddhism: suffering exists because of attachment. Peace arrives when you let go. When you catch yourself thinking, "They should treat me better," you can pause, smile gently, and say, "Is this true? Must it be this way?" Often, simply seeing the thought for what it is, a thought, gives you some freedom from it. Let's look at another simple daily example. Say someone forgets your birthday. Instantly, a flurry of thoughts. "They don't care. I'm not important." These thoughts hurt. But if you can pause and remember the Buddhist view, you see, these thoughts are not facts. They are only clouds passing over your mind. Maybe your friend was busy, maybe they forgot, maybe they planned a surprise for later. The suffering comes not from what happened, but from what you believe and hold tightly within your mind. Buddhist practice invites us to treat each thought like a guest knocking at your door. Listen, notice, but do not let every guest move in and rearrange your house. Welcome the thoughts, see them, and let them pass. This takes practice, but each time you do it, you grow stronger and more peaceful. Some people worry that if they stop attaching to thoughts, they will become careless or cold. Zen clarifies, letting go of attachment is not the same as not caring. You can love people, care for them deeply, respond kindly and thoughtfully, but without the tight grip of expectation and clinging. You see reality more clearly, without the fog of endless doubts and imagined harms. So how can you practice the Buddhist perspective in daily life? When you notice a strong thought about someone, do this. 1. Breathe deeply and pause. Name the thought to yourself. Worry about my friend, anger at my boss, jealousy about someone. Just naming it helps you to see it clearly. 2. Remind yourself gently, this is just a thought. Like a cloud, it will pass. 3. Ask, is this true? Do I need to hold on to this? If the answer is no, let it drift away. 4. Return to your breath or the task in front of you. Let yourself be present again, even for a moment. There is no need to judge yourself for having thoughts. Zen says, let thoughts come and go, but do not serve them tea. This means do not entertain or feed every thought, especially those that cause suffering. Buddhism also recommends being gentle with your mind. If a thought keeps returning, it is only because your mind is used to clinging. Just as a path becomes smooth by many footsteps, your mind has pathways it walks often. You can slowly change these pathways by practicing gentle awareness, patience, and non-attachment. Now let's consider forgiveness through the Buddhist lens. Attachment to hurtful thoughts often brings resentment. You keep replaying what someone did, how they wronged you, how it made you feel. Forgiveness in Buddhism does not mean you approve of their action. It means you are ready to put down the heavy burden of bitter thoughts, freeing yourself to move forward. A Zen story might help. When 2 monks were crossing a river, one carried a woman who needed help to the other side. Later, another monk asked, "Why did you touch her? That is against our rules." The first monk replied, "I set her down hours ago." Are you still carrying her? We often carry people and their actions in our minds, long after the moment has passed. Buddhism shows us it is safe to set them down. You might feel fear when you think of letting go. Fear of being hurt again, fear of being alone, fear of losing something important. Buddhism teaches fear is natural. But freedom and peace come from seeing through fear and not letting it rule your life. When you stop gripping every thought tightly, a quiet power rises within you, a strength that is gentle and calm. In your relationships, this new approach brings so much lightness. Instead of being controlled by what others say or do, you respond with clarity and kindness. You see, in Zen, there is a saying, respond, do not react. Reacting is automatic, based on attachment to stories in your mind. Responding comes from presence and understanding. Sometimes, of course, a thought will glue itself to your mind. She hurt me, and I can't stop thinking about it. In Buddhism, acknowledge the pain, but also see, the more you replay the hurt, the longer you keep the wound open. Only by letting go, by choosing forgiveness and freedom, can your mind and heart heal. Buddhist monks often meditate for hours, not to escape the world, but to see their own attachment clearly, to befriend their thoughts, and to experience a deep, unshakable peace. You do not need to be a monk. Even 5 minutes of noticing your thoughts like a gentle breeze can start to bring change. Remember this, your true nature is not your restless mind. The Buddhist perspective sees you as vast and peaceful, like a still lake. Thoughts ripple the surface, but deep down there is calm, always. With gentle practice, you can learn to rest in that calm, returning to it whenever the storm of attachment rages. Let's end this part with one more reflection. Imagine your mind as a guest house. Every morning, new thoughts arrive. Some sad, some angry, some hopeful. Open the door, greet each one, and let them go on their way. Attach to nothing, and you will find more peace than you thought possible. As your Zen master, I gently remind you, notice your thoughts, see their origin in attachment. Practice letting go, not with harshness, but with kindness to yourself. Slowly the mind unclenches, and in that freeing, you discover a space and a stillness, always available to you whenever you are ready to return. Move gently through your day. Notice which thoughts you attach to and which can be let go. Each moment is a new chance to begin again, free and light. The journey is not to control the mind, but to see its habits, to loosen your grip, and to return with kindness again and again to the peaceful place within. Let's sit together just as before, with a calm mind and an open heart. Imagine we are under a quiet tree. Maybe you can hear the rustling of the leaves. Maybe the air is cool and gentle. Allow yourself to relax, to settle, to let go of the rush of the world. Today we explore how overthinking affects our relationships. A gentle conversation between teacher and student, between friends and stillness. Part 4. How overthinking affects our relationships. Let's begin with the truth. All of us want to feel closer to others, to be seen and understood. Relationships are important in life, like the water that helps a plant grow. But think for a moment, have you ever felt distant from someone, not because of what happened, but because of what you imagined or thought? This is the hidden work of overthinking. Picture a small seed. A friend doesn't reply quickly, or a loved one seems less interested. The mind notices. That seed could stay small, but overthinking gives it sunlight, water, and a place to root. Before you know it, the seed turns into a thorny bush. Regret, hurt, distance, loneliness. These thorns poke at our hearts, not because of what truly happened, but because of the stories our minds create. One ordinary example. Two friends walking side by side. One is silent, deep in thought. The other starts to wonder, did I upset her? Maybe she's angry. Maybe she doesn't enjoy my company anymore. Question after question piles up. The silence grows heavy. After a time, the friends feel awkward, distant. But what really happened? Maybe one friend was tired, thinking about work, or just enjoying the walk. The painful distance comes not from reality, but from thoughts left to wander and grow. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like a projector, making films that might not be true. These films shape what we see and feel. Overthinking pulls us out of the present, where kindness and connection grow. Instead, it puts up walls made from assumptions, fears, and memories. We start to respond not to the person in front of us, but to the story we have told inside our own head. Let's pause. Take a breath. Notice how often your thoughts about someone are not really about them, but about your hopes, worries, or old wounds. Have you ever stayed awake at night, replaying a conversation, feeling upset about the words or the tone? Often those worries are one-sided. The other person is not thinking about it at all. Yet our own thoughts keep the feeling alive, and the distance grows wider. Relationships, in their natural state, are like a flowing river, sometimes joyful, sometimes stormy, but always changing, always moving. Overthinking is like building a dam in the river. Instead of free movement and connection, everything gets stuck. Water turns still, and what was once clear becomes muddy. Zen teaches us to notice these dams. When you catch yourself stuck in stories, maybe she doesn't like me. He always ignores me. See if you can step back. Is this the truth, or is this a film being projected by your mind? There's another way overthinking changes relationships. It feeds a cycle of misunderstanding. One person thinks too much, acts differently, then the other senses a distance and starts overthinking too. Round and round it goes, like wind stirring up dust in a courtyard, until no one can see each other clearly. Let's imagine a scene. A young person is quiet at dinner, lost in thought. The parent worries, is my child upset with me? Did I do something wrong? Because of this worry, the parent acts stiffer, more distant. The child now senses the change, feels even more alone. This is how overthinking, without a word spoken, can create a fence between two hearts. What can we do? Buddhism points to mindfulness, the art of seeing things as they truly are, not as the mind imagines. When you notice you are beginning to make stories about someone, pause, ask yourself, is this true, or is this my mind filling in blanks? Often, the simple act of seeing your overthinking for what it is brings a small shift, a softening, a chance to be present with the real person in front of you. When a relationship is healthy and open, small misunderstandings are quickly cleared away, like a breeze moving clouds. But when we overthink, clouds stay and gather, hiding the warmth of connection. Each time you believe your own story about another person without checking it, you double the pain. First, the pain of what you imagine, then the pain of the distance it creates. There is a Zen saying, don't let yesterday's mud dirty today's water. If someone hurt you in the past and you think of it again and again, soon you will see only the hurt, even when things are new and different. Overthinking keeps cleaning old wounds, never letting them heal. Instead, practice meeting each moment fresh, as if the other person is a new friend you're meeting for the first time. Have you ever noticed how children forgive and forget easily? One moment they fight, the next they play together as if nothing happened. They live in the moment. Adults with minds trained by years of overthinking might carry the memory of one unkind word for months, even years. This is why Buddhist teachers urge us to remember, just this moment is real. The past is a story. Let it go. Here is a small practice. If you catch yourself thinking too much about someone, what they said, what they meant, why they did something, stop and breathe. Ask yourself, am I reacting to this person or to my thoughts about them? This gap, this bit of awareness, gives you the freedom to act with kindness, not habit. Sometimes we become so afraid of pain or rejection that we build thick walls of overthinking, hoping to protect ourselves. But these walls keep out warmth, joy, and connection too. In Buddhism, we meditate not to escape relationships, but to clear away the walls in our own minds. When you are more open, more present, relationships become lighter, simpler, more natural. Let's look at forgiveness. Overthinking keeps wounds open, replaying past hurts and misunderstandings. Forgiveness is a way of putting down the heavy stones you have carried, freeing both yourself and the other. In a Zen story, a monk asks, "How can I free myself from anger at my friend?" The master replies, "Forgive her 1,000 times." This does not mean you accept being hurt again and again, but that you free your mind from the old story, making space for new connection. Jealousy is another child of overthinking. You see someone laugh with a friend, and the mind invents 100 reasons to feel left out, less than, unloved. Buddhism teaches that jealousy is a sign you are measuring your worth by someone else's actions. When you pause and return to yourself, to your breath, the need for comparison falls away. The heart opens and relationship becomes easier, more joyful. Overthinking creates distance even when people are close. Two lovers might sit in silence, each thinking, "Does he still love me? Maybe she wants to leave." But if they spoke gently and honestly, if they talked without spinning stories, the space would fill with real connection. This is the invitation of Buddhist wisdom. Be present, be honest, let go of imagined hurts, and let the moment unfold. Practice brings change. Each time you notice your mind wandering into overthinking, guide it back gently. If you make a mistake, start again. Zen reminds us, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Growth comes not from doing things perfectly, but from returning, kindly and patiently, to the present. If you want your relationships to feel lighter, more loving, practice listening, truly listening, not to your own fears or assumptions, but to the words and feelings of the other. Buddhist listening is a soft attention, a willingness to let the other person be just as they are, without trying to predict or control them. When you listen this way, old stories fade, and every connection becomes a chance to learn and grow. Here is a simple exercise. The next time you talk with someone, notice if you are thinking more about what you will say or what they might be meaning, or if you can simply be there, listening, breathing. Let go of the urge to fix, explain, or predict. Just be present. This kind of listening turns even ordinary conversations into moments of true connection. Zen masters say, true relationship begins when the stories end. That means when you stop overthinking, stop projecting old fears or future worries, you meet the person right where they are. No walls, no muddy water, only the freshness of this moment. Can you see how much overthinking takes us away from simple joy? From laughter shared, kindness given, the warmth of real companionship? The more you practice presence, the less space there is for unnecessary worry. Relationships will still have ups and downs, but you will move with them, not against them. Let's imagine one more scene. A sunrise, gentle and beautiful. You can only watch it if you are here, awake, ready to see. In the same way, you can only truly connect to others if you are present, if you are not lost in old movies and imagined futures. Buddhism calls us back again and again to the simplicity of right now. Each time you notice your mind racing ahead or dragging you back, smile gently, breathe, and come back to this breath, this person, this moment. In truth, this is all any relationship ever needs. In summary, overthinking confuses and clouds relationships, creating distance where there could be closeness. With mindfulness, forgiveness, and gentle practice, relationships become spaces of freedom, lightness, and joy. Make it your practice to notice the stories, to let them go, and to return again and again to the living, breathing, present moment. Here your heart can rest. Here real connection begins anew. Part 5. Examples from Buddhist parables. The monkey mind. You might notice every day just how restless your mind can be. It jumps from thought to thought. Work, friends, arguments, funny memories. What will happen tomorrow? What did that person mean? In Buddhism, this pattern is called the monkey mind. Imagine a monkey swinging wildly through the trees, never staying in one place, always searching, always unsettled. Can you see how similar your mind feels, especially when you try not to think about someone? The harder you try, the faster the monkey runs. Let's explore this through stories, the way Zen masters teach, stories that are as simple as clear water, yet as deep as a quiet lake. A long time ago, the Buddha sat under a tree with his followers. He noticed they often looked tired, worried, or lost in thought. One day, a young monk came to him with a troubled face. "Master," the monk said, "I want to meditate, to be peaceful, but my mind chases after others. Sometimes I remember harsh words from my neighbor, or I worry what a friend thinks of me. I cannot make my mind quiet, no matter how hard I try." Buddha smiled gently, understanding the struggle. He asked the young monk, "If there is a tree and a monkey is swinging from branch to branch, would you get mad at the tree?" The monk shook his head. "No, master, the tree just stands. It does not make the monkey wild." Buddha replied, "So too, you are not your thoughts. The monkey mind swings because it is its nature, but the tree just stands. Learn to stand like the tree." This parable shows us our true self is peaceful, steady, unhurried. The thoughts that jump and run, they are nature's monkey, busy but not dangerous. You can watch them, smile at them, let them be, but you do not have to chase them. Each time you remember this, you grow calmer, like the tree itself. Another parable tells of a wise monk who lived at the edge of a broad river. People would often come to ask for advice. One day a villager arrived, his shoulders tight, his face full of worry. "Master, every time I try to meditate or relax, I think about old arguments. My mind won't let me be free." The master pointed to the flowing river. "See how the water moves? Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. But beneath, it is always water." "But master," the villager replied, "my river is too wild, too noisy." The master smiled. "Sit by the river every day. Watch the water. With patience, its noise will feel like music. Your mind will learn to flow too." This story teaches us about patience. Your mind might be wild today, but if you watch it gently, it starts to slow down. Even if thoughts about others come again and again, with practice, they become just water flowing by, not something to hold or fight. There is a famous Zen story about two monks and a woman at a muddy road. The two monks traveling together came to a river with muddy banks. A woman stood at the edge, afraid to cross in her fine clothes. One monk without a word lifted her onto his back and carried her over. Later, the other monk, troubled and silent, finally said, "We monks should not touch women. How could you carry her?" The first monk replied, "I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Here is the lesson. Many times we carry thoughts and memories about others long after the moment is gone. The mind, like the second monk, can't let go. You replay what was said or done, holding it tightly, letting it fill your day. The Zen way is to notice, are you still carrying someone you could have put down? This story softly reminds you to set down burdens, to let go, to be here and now. Buddhist parables use animals to explain the mind. Imagine a monkey chattering in the forest, full of endless energy. The monkey mind becomes even busier when you want to focus on someone or forget someone. The harder you try to make it stop, the more it jumps. What is the Zen advice? Don't fight the monkey, just watch. When it grows tired and sees you are not chasing it, it calms down, sometimes even comes sit quietly. There was a story of a student who asked the Zen master, "How can I quiet my mind?" The master gave him a bowl of water and told him to keep it still. If the student shook or stirred it to make it calm, the water grew even more cloudy and wild. But if he waited patient, doing nothing but watching, the mud dropped, the water grew clear on its own. You can use this lesson in daily life. When you're troubled by non-stop thoughts about someone, perhaps their words, perhaps their silence, try not to fight or explain or push the thoughts away. Instead, breathe slowly, watch them. Like mud in the water, like the monkey in the tree, they will settle in their own time. You are the watcher, calm and patient. In Buddhism, understanding parables is not just for monks or teachers, it is for living every day. When you think too much about someone, remember the cow who got lost in the Zen tale. The farmer, worried, searched everywhere, only to find the cow calmly resting under a tree. Our worries often create storms that are not real. When we stop searching, the answers appear. Let's imagine another simple moment. You see two birds fighting over crumbs on the path. One bird flies off, angry, the other stays. Soon both birds forget, enjoying the sun, finding other food, free from the fight. If only humans could let go so easily. Buddhism teaches you can, with practice, let go as naturally as those birds. The monkey mind doesn't stop quickly, but by noticing, by not joining its games, you make space for peace. You might wonder, why use stories and not just rules? Buddhist teachings say that stories stay with your heart. When trouble comes, you remember, the second monk is carrying her still, or my monkey mind swings, but I do not have to chase. Each parable is a lamp, lighting your way back to center, back to peace. Here's a very practical use. When you stay up thinking about someone's words, recall the story of the tree and the monkey. Say to yourself, I am the tree. Thoughts are just monkeys. Let them swing, let them play. I do not need to follow. Or if you feel stuck, replaying old hurts, remember the muddy road. Am I still carrying her? Can I set this memory down? All stories in Buddhism guide you gently to the present, where life is not as hard as the mind imagines. Worrying, overthinking, letting the monkey take charge. These only take your peace. If you sit calmly, breathe and watch, you learn that you are bigger than your thoughts. You are peaceful by nature, steady like the tree, calm like the deep water. Zen masters often say, chop wood, carry water. It means live simply, do what's true in front of you. Don't get tangled by the monkey's games or the movies in your mind. If you are washing rice, wash rice. If you are talking to a friend, be there with them, not lost in old stories or new worries. Let's end with another gentle image. The Buddha was once asked, "How do I find true freedom?" He replied, "Let go. Let go of chasing the monkey. Let go of carrying stories. Let go of all that is not here, right now." Part 5 is the gentle doorway, leading you from being pushed around by thoughts about others, to watching, to letting go, to resting in the deep peace that Buddhist stories reveal. Every day, remember a parable, let it guide your heart, and walk through life with the lightness of one who knows. You are not the monkey, you are the watching tree. Let your day flow gently from here. Notice your thoughts, listen to the stories, and watch them drift by. The lessons of the parables live in you now, helping you grow as steady, kind, and peaceful as the greatest Zen masters. Part 6. Why we project our thoughts onto others. Our minds are storytellers. From the time you were a child, the mind has made up stories. My friend looked away, so maybe she's angry. Or, he didn't reply fast. He must not like me. Even before you have any proof, your mind is busy, inventing reasons, making pictures, filling empty spaces with worry or hope. But why? Why does the mind rush to give meaning where there may be none? Let us start with the roots. The human mind for thousands of years has needed to predict and plan to survive. The wild forest, the open plain, these were full of hidden dangers. If you guessed what others might do, you kept yourself safe. This survival tool still lives inside you, only now the world is safer, but the habit remains. You still guess, predict, and project, often out of fear, habit, or longing, not only danger. Projection means you take your own feelings, thoughts, or worries and place them on someone else. It's like putting on glasses colored by your own mood, and then saying the world looks blue or green. Suppose you wake up sad. All day you might guess that others are cold or distant, even if they're not. Or if you feel worried you did something wrong, every look, every silence from others becomes proof of this, even if they are simply lost in their own world. A simple story: a man walks home after work, tired and troubled. On the way, he passes a neighbor who does not greet him. She must be upset with me, he thinks. All evening he worries, feels bad, and decides there must be a problem. The next day he learns. His neighbor had a headache and simply did not see him. All that pain, all that distance, came from projection, not reality. Buddhism teaches, the mind is like a movie director. It takes a few facts and makes a big film. What if they don't like me? Maybe I am in trouble. Often you are not watching the truth, just your own mind's movie. The characters say what you expect, not what's real. The trouble is, when you believe the movie, you feel all the feelings as if it's true. There is a Buddhist image of the shadow puppet. Light and a cutout shape create a picture on the wall. But when you look closer, it's just paper and light. Your thoughts about others are like these shadows. They look real, but are made by you, not by the facts of the moment. Why does the mind do this again and again? Because it fears the unknown. The spaces between words, the silences, the actions we don't understand, all these feel empty and uncomfortable. So the mind rushes in, fills them up with guesses, stories, even warnings. It would rather have a bad explanation than none at all. Imagine you drop a message to your friend, no reply. 5 minutes pass, then 10. The mind is alert. Did I write something wrong? Are they angry? Maybe I'm not important. But in truth, your friend might be busy, sleeping, or just having a hard day. The mind's stories pile up and hurt you with worry and sadness, all without a single word exchange. In Zen, teachers say, let silence be silence. Let space be space. Not everything needs a story. Not every silence is rejection. Not every look is anger. Not every delay is proof of something wrong. The practice is to let things be as they are, not colored by your old worries or fears. Why do we so easily mix our feeling with others? Sometimes it comes from old wounds. If as a child you were ignored or misunderstood, your mind learned to watch closely, to guess, to protect you. Now as a grown-up, that habit can cause more pain. You see an old friend and worry, am I boring? Do they want to leave? The mind rattles on, using today to fix yesterday. Other times, projection is about longing. You wish to be liked, loved, wanted. Sometimes you hope so deeply, you convince yourself someone feels as you wish, even when there's no sign. Or, if you fear loss, you see goodbye in every small change. It is the mind trying to control, to avoid pain, to get closer to feeling safe. Here is a story from the old Zen days. A monk saw two friends arguing. He felt certain they must be talking badly about him. Why else would they glance his way? He spent all night awake, upset. The next day he learned. They were wondering if he wanted to join them for tea. All the storm, all the worry, came from the mind's projection. Projection makes relationships harder. If you meet someone while wearing dark glasses, every word, every look seems heavy and cold. If your glasses are bright, everything seems warm. But the truth remains the same. Only your perception changes. This is why counsel in Buddhism is simple. Notice when you are wearing your glasses. Are you seeing what is real, or only what you expect, predict, or fear? Each time you spot a projection, smile gently and let it drop. Return to the present, to words actually said, to actions honestly done. Give people a chance to be who they really are, not just who the mind believes. Sit with me, take a breath. Think of a time you projected your feelings onto someone. Did it help? Or did it simply make you feel worse, more distant, more doubtful? Seeing the habit is the doorway to peace. Zen masters teach, don't add to the snow. If it snows outside, the world is cold enough. Projection is like throwing more snow on your own head. You end up cold and lost. Let the world be as it is. Let people have their own feelings, their silences, their busy days. If you need to know, ask with kindness, not with stories. There is also projection of hope. He must love me. She will never leave. Sometimes hoping makes us blind to what is right in front of us, the other's pain or wishes. Buddhism says, love as it is, not as you wish. The more you see clearly, the less you need to invent, the less you fear, the closer you are truly to others. This may sound difficult, but every day offers practice. When an uneasy feeling comes, pause. Ask, am I making up a story? What do I actually know? It may feel risky not to rush to explain, but in the space of not knowing, real connection blooms. One Zen monk says, the most beautiful part of a relationship is when both people see clearly, not through fog or fear. Practice seeing with clear eyes. Practice letting yourself not know, not guess, not worry about what is not said. The world is lighter. Your heart is softer. Your mind is more peaceful. Now think of a pond, clear, quiet, reflecting what is above. If you throw too many pebbles, the surface grows rough. the image is lost. Projection is like tossing pebbles. You lose sight of what is true. Let the pond be still. Let conversations, silences, feelings come and go. Meet each moment as new, not weighed down by what you imagine. Buddhism tells us, every moment you can return. If you catch yourself projecting, let go gently, without shame. The more you practice, the more you learn to live side by side with others, not in a world of your mind's worries and hopes. When you forgive yourself for making these stories, you make space to understand others better. When you let yourself be just here, the mind grows quieter, the heart more open. Suddenly you may find others are not as distant, cold, or mysterious as your projections made them. Often they are just like you, wondering, hoping, sometimes afraid. So let us walk gently. Meet others as they are, not as your worries whisper. If you do not know, stay curious. If an answer does not come, rest. Trust that not knowing is part of true wisdom. Let's remember, everything you imagine about someone else starts in your own mind. You can let those thoughts float by, like clouds in the big sky. With practice, you will live with a clearer, steadier heart, a friend to yourself and to all. That is enough for today, gentle traveler. The teachings live in you now. Notice your projections. Let them pass. Find peace and belonging, not in the mind's movie, but in the world as it simply is. Part 7. Meditation. Calming the overactive mind. Imagine the mind like a pond on a windy day. The more the wind blows, the rougher the surface becomes. When we are busy thinking and worrying about others, it's as if strong winds are whipping the water, never giving it the chance to settle and show a clear reflection. Meditation is the art of calming these winds. With time and patience, even the most restless pond can become calm and still. Many people think meditation means emptying the mind or making all thoughts stop. That isn't so. Even the great Buddha had thoughts when he sat under the Bodhi tree. Meditation is not fighting with thoughts, but learning to sit with them as peaceful company. When you notice a thought, you say, "There is a thought." You watch it, let it pass, and return to your breath, your body, or the present moment. With practice, thoughts do not pull you away so easily. Let's begin with a very simple meditation. Just sit quietly. Feel your feet on the ground. Take a deep, slow breath in and let it go. Notice how the air feels as you inhale, cool or warm, heavy or light. As you breathe, thoughts may appear. Did I remember to do my chores? What did that person mean? Instead of chasing these thoughts in meditation, you simply say in your mind, "Thinking." Then you return to your breath. Many people feel frustrated because their mind continues to jump. They sit, trying to find peace, but feel only more aware of the monkey mind. In Zen, we say, the mind jumps because it is alive. If your mind was a silent stone, you would not be living. The practice is not to stop the jumping forever, but to notice and return, again and again. Let's imagine a young person who sits for meditation. Thoughts come rushing about friends, about the day at school, about worries for the future. The person wants to give up, feeling restless and impatient. But the Zen teacher says, every time you notice the mind wandering and gently return to the breath, that is meditation. That is victory. Even if you must return 100 times in 10 minutes, you are practicing well. In Buddhism, there are many styles of meditation. The simplest is called mindfulness of breathing. You sit, gently pay attention to the flow of air in and out, and allow your thoughts to be like clouds passing through the sky. Sometimes for extra calmness, people count their breaths. 1 as they inhale, 2 as they exhale, up to 10, then start again. If you lose track, gently begin at 1. There is no rush, no reward for being perfect. The purpose is coming back over and over to this simple moment. As you meditate, you may notice your body. Maybe your neck is tight or your hands are cold. Meditation asks you to be kind, not forceful. Let your hands rest comfortably. Let your face relax. If a spot is painful, just notice. There is pain. Bring your breath to that spot and let it be as it is. Meditation is never about rejecting anything, not even discomfort or impatience. Sometimes loud emotions or urgent thoughts crowd your mind. Anger, jealousy, sadness, worry. These are not enemies. In meditation, you greet them like visitors. Here is anger. Here is sadness. You do not have to send them away or hold on to them. Just notice them, and they will move on when they are ready. The act of naming your feelings gives you space. You realize these are feelings, not facts. They come and go. Children naturally meditate. Watch how a child looks at a flower, full of focus, quiet, present. No past regrets or future worries, just the simple joy of the flower. Meditation helps adults return to this natural state, even if just for a few breaths. Maybe you ask, how long should I meditate? Zen says, 1 breath is enough. Even 1 moment of truly being here can bring peace. If you want more, you can sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or longer. Some Buddhists meditate for hours, but even short times are very powerful when done with a clear heart. Let's imagine you have a thought that keeps returning, maybe about a conflict with a friend or worry about your reputation. In meditation, you don't push this thought away, and you don't follow it down every path. You say, this is worry. You return once more to your breath, to sitting, to just being. Each return is like smoothing out a wrinkled cloth. Slowly, with patience, the mind settles, and even when thoughts come, they lose some of their power over you. There is a Zen story of a student who asked his teacher, "Master, I cannot meditate. My mind is too noisy." The master answered, "Let your mind be noisy. You sit quietly beside it." This teaching is deep. You do not need to change the mind, only your relationship with it. Sitting quietly with your thoughts, you learn not to be ruled by them. Over time, meditation gives you gifts that overflow into your whole life. You learn to pause before reacting, to listen more deeply, to worry less about what others think or say. You might become more patient when waiting, kinder to yourself when you make mistakes, gentler in conversations. The gaps between thoughts grow. Peace finds room in your daily living. Meditation can be done anywhere. Sitting at your desk, on a bus, waiting in line. Just 1 breath in, 1 breath out, attention on the present. You can feel your feet on the ground, the air on your face, the beating of your own heart. These simple things bring you back from the stories in your head to life as it is. Some people fear that meditation will make them cold or distant, uncaring about friends and family. In fact, the opposite happens. More calm within means more space for love and understanding. You listen not just with your ears, but with your whole heart. You see others as they are, beyond your own worries. This is true compassion growing from quiet sitting. Let's talk about what to do when meditation feels impossible. Maybe the mind is stormy, your heart is hurting, you cannot sit still. Zen says, meditate as you are. Cry if you need. Sigh, stretch, get up and walk quietly. Meditation is not a hard chair or a stiff rule. It is a gentle invitation to be with yourself, however you are. Try this. When you lie in bed at night, mind racing, place your hand on your belly. Breathe into your hand. Notice it rise and fall. If a thought comes, say, thinking, letting go. Come back to the breath. If sleep comes, that is a blessing. If not, you have still given your body and mind a little space to rest. Meditation is not about achieving something, but about discovering what is always there, the deep peace beneath the busy mind. Every day as you practice, you find that life's small troubles do not shake you as much. Friends may still upset you, worries may still come, but you know a way home to stillness. There's a saying in Zen, you should meditate for 20 minutes every day, unless you are too busy. Then you should meditate for an hour. This is a gentle joke, reminding you that it is when life feels busiest that you need peace the most. Some people worry, am I meditating wrong? Truth is, if you are sitting, breathing, and returning, even with noise and restlessness, you are practicing. There is no wrong way to come home to yourself. Let's touch on gratitude. In meditation, after you settle your mind for a while, you might feel thankful for small things. The warmth of sunshine, the breath flowing in and out, the quiet you found for yourself. Gratitude spreads like sunlight, and in time your heart opens more to the world, less pulled and shaken by thoughts of others. Zen masters sometimes walk slowly, paying deep attention with every step. This is called walking meditation. It is not about going somewhere fast. Each foot falls with awareness. Step, breathe, feel the ground. You can do walking meditation at home, outside, or even in a store. It is a way of bringing stillness and presence into movement. Finally, remember, meditation is a lifelong friend, always patient, never judging you, always waiting for your return. Each time you sit, you make peace with yourself, with your thoughts, with life as it truly is. The more you practice, the gentler your mind becomes. Thoughts about others, worries and doubts, they may still come, but you will know how to meet them, sit beside them, and watch them drift away like clouds in a vast sky. So whenever you feel life is stormy, whenever thinking about others becomes too much, come back to a quiet moment. Sit, breathe, return to now. Here, within this gentle quiet, you find the heart of meditation, the calm center that Buddhism cherishes. You will find not only a peaceful mind, but also a kinder, more open heart, strong and soft as a tree rooted deeply in still earth. Part 8. The power of mindfulness in letting go. Begin with a breath. Feel the air move in and then out. Notice how your chest rises and falls, how the air feels against your skin. For this moment, let all cares drop away. Thoughts about friends, family, worries about the past, hopes for the future. Simply be here, aware, breathing. Mindfulness, in the Buddhist way, is simple attention to what is happening right now. It is being awake, not trapped by old stories or pulled away by imagined futures. Mindfulness is not a big mystery. You are mindful every time you notice the taste of your food, the feeling of water on your hands, the soft sound of the wind. It is awareness, pure, open, clear. When you start thinking too much about someone, your mind tries to pull you into the past or the future. What did they mean? Will they do it again? Mindfulness brings you back. It says, see this moment. Can you let this be enough? When you are present, the mind's stories have less power. A simple example. You're eating your meal and suddenly a memory about a friend's words appears. The mind wants to run with it, making up new worries. Mindfulness is pausing, noticing you are eating, feeling your fork in your hand, tasting each bite. The worry can wait. In this way, the mind learns to be here, not caught in someone else's story. Mindfulness also means gentleness. When you notice you are lost in thought, you do not get angry with yourself. Instead, you smile inside and return. Just as you might gently pick up a small bird and set it free, you release the thought and come back to your breath. Zen teaches that with every mindful breath, you are born anew. Each moment is a chance to see life fresh, not weighed down by what others did or might do. You do not need to fix the past or guess the future. The richness of now is enough. There's a teaching. When walking, walk. When eating, eat. When feeling, feel. If you are sad, just notice the sadness. If you are happy, just enjoy it. If you are thinking about someone too much, just notice there is thinking. You watch kindly, but do not let it push you off balance. Maybe in your day, you catch yourself replaying a conversation. Mindfulness is noticing, my mind is chewing on this again. Then, like a gentle bell, you return to what your hands are doing, what your eyes see, what your ears hear. This practice changes everything. The more you do it, the more spacious your mind becomes. People sometimes believe they must push thoughts away or fight them. Mindfulness is different. It is watching thoughts as if sitting by a river, watching leaves float by. You do not have to grab them nor push them away. Just notice a leaf, a thought, a feeling, and let it float on. Let's try a little exercise together. Sit wherever you are. Place a hand on your heart. Feel the warmth there. Now focus on one place. Your breath, the sound in the room, or your hand on your heart. When a thought about someone comes up, say in your mind, thinking, letting go. Then return to what you are feeling. This is how mindfulness is practiced, in ordinary moments, again and again. Over time, mindfulness makes it easier to untangle yourself from thoughts about others. You see, those thoughts are not the enemy. They only become strong because we feed them with worry and attention. If you feed your awareness into the present instead, the mind's grip loosens, and you find a soft, peaceful space inside. In relationships, mindfulness is especially powerful. When a friend says something that bothers you, notice your reaction. Pause, breathe. Instead of answering quickly or believing the worst, you look, you see, you feel, and you meet the moment as it is, not as you fear it might be. There is a Zen story. A student came to a master, upset by people in their life. The master asked, "Can you listen as you would listen to the sound of the rain?" When you listen to rain, you do not judge which drop falls where, nor hold on to one sound or another. In the same way, mindfulness teaches you to let people's words and actions come and go. Seeing, hearing, releasing, never caught. Mindfulness is not only for times of trouble, it makes happy moments sweeter, quiet times deeper, even ordinary days full of wonder. When you pay attention, the smell of tea, the softness of your pillow, the feeling of your breath become gifts, anchoring you in what is real. As you get better at being present, the mind begins to settle. When thoughts about others come, they pass more quickly. You do not fall into old patterns, analyzing, defending, worrying. You trust the present, knowing this is where you have real power. Let's talk about feelings too. When we are mindful, we do not judge ourselves for being angry, sad, lonely, or even for thinking too much. Instead, we notice, here is anger, here is thinking. We breathe and make space. With space, feelings soften, and unwanted thoughts become less sticky. Sometimes life is difficult. Mindfulness does not take away pain, but it helps you bear it, one breath, one step at a time. When your mind fills with regret or longing for someone, mindfulness asks, can I be here now? Can I care for myself kindly in this moment? This is real courage, and it brings healing. If you want to grow in mindfulness, set aside small pockets of time, not just when you're meditating. Try being mindful while brushing your teeth, washing dishes, or walking. Notice your steps, your hands, your breath. When thoughts about someone else pull you away, smile and return. Each return is a little victory, a strengthening of your peaceful center. Remember, mindfulness is practice, not perfection. Some days the mind will be noisy, some days quieter. Each day is new. You do not need to measure. You only need to begin and begin again. The greatest Zen teachers still return to their breath again and again, each time they notice their mind drifting. Finally, mindfulness brings you closer to yourself. When you stop chasing thoughts about others, you discover a friend inside, your own wise, gentle heart. You begin to trust yourself more, to need less from others, and to find comfort in your own peacefulness. This is one of the deepest gifts Buddhist wisdom offers. So let's finish this talk with simple advice. When your thoughts wander to others, gently bring them back to now. Notice your breath, your body, your life as it is. With gentle, patient practice, thoughts about others lose their hold. What remains is calm, space, light, a new freedom to live, love, and be yourself, here in the great living present. Part 9. Disentangling ego from thought, pause, and breathe. Feel your body sitting, just as it is. Now listen gently. The human mind is a great storyteller, and at the center of so many stories is a small, insistent voice called the ego. In Buddhism, ego isn't about pride or only thinking you are best. Ego is the sense that there is a small me inside who must always be protected, defended, measured. The ego wants to be praised, to be right, to be important. It is very sensitive to what others say, do, or even might think. Picture ego as a little actor, always on stage, wondering if the crowd, your friends, family, strangers, approve or disapprove. When you think too much about others, it is often the ego worrying, did they like my words? Did I look foolish? Am I special or invisible? These thoughts are not bad or shameful. They are the mind's way of asking, am I safe? Am I loved? Buddhist teachers say this: the ego is not the enemy, but it is not your master either. Ego is like a child who doesn't want to be left out. When ego gets too loud, the mind fills up with thoughts about others. Every word, every glance, every hint becomes a puzzle. Why did she look away? What did he mean by that message? Because ego is afraid of being small, it creates big stories. Let's try to see this clearly, with kindness. When you hear criticism, what happens? Ego feels threatened, maybe hurt, maybe angry. Thoughts race. How dare they? Or, why am I always wrong? Similarly, when you hear praise, ego grows happy and hungry. Say more good things about me. But whether the mind is running after praise or running from blame, notice the pattern. Thoughts are tangled around how others see me. Zen teaching says, these waves will always come. The trick is noticing them, naming ego's voice, and sitting steady in the storm. If someone says, that was a silly idea, you might feel a hot rush inside. The mind spins stories, defending, replaying, planning future words. But in truth, it's only a sound, a passing phrase. The ego reacts, but you don't have to follow every reaction. Ego often confuses what we are with what we think. Suppose someone ignores you. Ego says, "I must be boring." 100 thoughts follow, all painting a sad picture. But maybe the other person was just tired, busy, or distracted. It's the ego that takes everything personally, and then the mind goes to work, building reasons and worries. Let's look deeper. In Buddhism, the self is understood as always changing, a flowing process, not a fixed thing. The self is like a river, new water always coming, old water flowing on. If you build your identity around every opinion, every mood, or every memory, you will be pulled in every direction. But if you see yourself as changing, like the river, you can meet each moment lightly. A Zen master once said, "The moon does not fight the clouds. When clouds cover, the moon is patient. When clouds pass, the moon shines again." Your mind, clouded by ego thoughts, can wait quietly. With patience, the clouds part, and your true self, quiet, calm, open, appears again. Sometimes people believe that protecting ego means protecting happiness. But have you noticed? The more you grasp for approval, the more nervous and unhappy you get. The more you try to control how others see you, the more tangled your mind becomes. If someone says something unkind, ego wants to fight. If someone ignores you, ego pulls you into sadness or anger. But all these reactions come from deeply believing in a small, separate me that must always win. Buddhist practice teaches us to meet ego with soft eyes. When you notice thoughts spiraling around someone's opinion, pause. Ask, is this my true self or just the ego reacting? If it is ego, you can smile, breathe, and let the reaction go. You do not need to fight or fix the mind. You simply see and return to the present. Let's imagine a daily scene. You give your opinion and someone disagrees. The mind instantly feels attacked. Ego says, "They are against me." Thoughts multiply. But what would happen if you saw the disagreement as just one voice among many, not a threat to who you are? You might relax, listen, learn. The Buddhist way is to see disagreement, not as a wound, but as a passing cloud. Ego also makes us compare ourselves constantly. He is smarter than me. She is more liked. I am not as good. Comparison is an exhausting game. Buddhism gently laughs. The flower does not compare itself to another. It simply blooms. The more you compare, the more you suffer. The more you let go, the more you find peace in just being you. Every time you think too much about someone, worrying they'll leave you out, judge you, praise, or blame you, it is often the ego seeking reassurance. But ego's hunger is never satisfied. Even if everyone praised you today, tomorrow it wants more. The mind cannot be full by chasing after approval. Buddhism gives you a simpler way. Whenever you feel the swirl of ego, come back to your breath. Notice the sensation in your chest, the feeling in your stomach, the heat or tightness. Name it. Here is anger. Here is pride. Here is worry. Each time you see the ego clearly, it loosens a little. The voice grows softer. You do not have to believe every story. Zen masters say, "Who were you before you were given a name?" Before the world told you what you must be, you were simply alive, breathing, feeling, watching. This is your true self, wide and free, not squeezed inside endless thoughts of me versus them. Sometimes ego and thought feel stuck together. The more you think about someone who upset you, the bigger the story gets. But as in old Zen stories, you can always let go. If someone is unkind, you don't need to keep holding the hot coal. Notice the pain, then put it down. This does not mean you ignore feelings. It means you choose not to let the mind run wild. There is a Buddhist practice called no self, anatta, but this does not mean you do not exist. It means you are more than any one feeling or thought. When you remember this, the comments or actions of others sting less. You are not a prisoner of every word. Here's a little practice. When you find yourself dwelling on someone else's words or actions, ask, is this ego speaking? Am I feeding old stories? If so, place a mental hand on your heart. Breathe. Say gently to yourself, I am more than this story. Allow space between you and the thoughts. Soon, they pass. Even Zen masters have ego thoughts. The difference is, they see the ego as a small part of life, not its master. When pride or doubt or worry comes, they watch, smile, and let it go. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Let's finish with a story. A wise Buddhist monk was insulted by a rude traveler. People waited for the monk to respond, but he simply smiled and said, "You can give me your anger if you wish, but I do not have to take it." So too, when ego feels hurt, you can choose not to accept the pain as your own, not to let it grow and take over your thoughts. Remember, ego and thought are not bad, they are natural, but when you see them with awareness, you do not have to get lost in their games. You can return again and again to a peaceful place where you are not just the sum of what others think, where you live lightly, freely, just as you are. So as you go through your day, watch gently when the ego grabs the wheel. Notice, breathe, smile. You are deeper than any story the mind tells. When you disentangle yourself from ego, a natural kindness and calmness fills your heart, a peace that no opinion, praise, or blame can shake. This is the wisdom of Zen, patiently waiting inside you, always ready to light your way home. Part 10. Recognizing impermanence. People and emotions. Start with a slow, deep breath. Feel the air come in and let it out. Notice the way even breath changes. Each one is a little different, soft one time, strong the next. The simple truth that nothing stays the same is at the heart of Buddhism. We call it impermanence. It means that everything is always moving, always flowing, always changing. Think about your own life. The people you see today may not be there forever. Friends come and go. Sometimes you feel close. Sometimes distance grows. Emotions rise and fall. Joy in the morning, sadness in the afternoon, peace at night. Nothing stands still. This is not a sad truth. It is just the way the world works. Like the seasons following each other, one by one. When we forget impermanence, we cling. We want things, people, feelings, situations, to stay just as they are. But life does not work that way. The clouds drift, the river flows, the leaves fall and grow again. When you remember impermanence, there is less need to hold on tightly, less need to think again and again about what someone did or what you wish had happened. A Zen student once asked, "Why do I suffer when friends argue with me or move away?" The master replied, "Because you believe the world should not change. See the change, accept it, and you will find peace." This is the gentle wisdom of impermanence. People meet, share, part, and meet again, all according to the dance of time and life. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you are watching children at play. They laugh, they run, sometimes they fight, sometimes they hug. Each moment passes. If one child is upset, soon the mood changes. Another game, another laugh, another whisper. Children in their hearts know nothing lasts forever, so they move easily from one feeling to the next. Adults, held back by habit, often cling to a single feeling, a single word, a single goodbye. We replay moments, thinking if we remember them hard enough, we can make them last. But the truth is, every feeling, every moment, every person is moving like water in a stream. When you see this clearly, you can let go of holding so tightly to your thoughts about someone. Perhaps you had a friendship that felt strong, but slowly it changed. At first, you tried to hold on, to think about why it changed, to wonder what you could have done differently. With time, you learned that all things change, not because you failed, but because change is natural. Friendships, like flowers, bloom, fade, and sometimes bloom again in a new way. Emotions are like weather. One day sun, one day clouds, one day storm. When you think too much about anyone, worry for them, hope they will never leave, wish they would always love you, you fight with the reality of change. Instead of peace, you feel tension, fear, sadness. Buddhism teaches you to watch these feelings come and go, just as you watch the weather outside, knowing it will not last. Impermanence does not mean nothing matters. It means that every moment is precious because it won't last forever. The kindness you share today might be forgotten tomorrow, or it might come back to you in a different way. The pain you feel for someone will not stay forever. Even pain changes, softens, disappears. If you look closely at your mind, you see how much suffering comes from fighting impermanence. When someone moves away or acts differently, you might think, this should not have happened. The mind tries to hold back the river of change. But if you accept change, even with some sadness, you give yourself the gift of peace and the freedom to meet the next moment openly. There is a lovely Zen saying, let it come, let it go. It means let a person come into your life, and when they go, let them go. Let a feeling come, joy, sadness, anger, and let it go when it's ready. Each time you do this, you find more room inside, as if you open the windows of your heart and let fresh air blow through. Sometimes impermanence can feel scary. If nothing lasts, is anything safe or certain? Here, Buddhism shares comfort. There is one thing that can last: your ability to be open, gentle, and kind to yourself and others as things change. If you hold on to this way of being, each change becomes a new lesson, a new beginning, not something to fear. Let's imagine a river again. If you stand in the middle and try to grab the water, it slips through your fingers. If you stand quietly and let the water flow, you feel the coolness, hear the gentle sound, see reflections dancing. Life and relationships are like this river. If you grasp, you miss the beauty. If you watch and let things flow, you find contentment. When you think too much about anyone, remember they too are changing. Their feelings, their lives, their paths. Sometimes you grow together. Sometimes you move apart. If you think they must always be this way, you create pain. Instead, try thinking, how wonderful to share time together, even as we both change. A Zen teacher once gave his student a cup of tea, saying, "Taste this now, for no cup of tea can ever be the same twice." The meaning is simple. Each experience, each encounter, each friendship, each feeling is unrepeatable. Savor it now, let it teach you, let it go when it's gone. In Buddhist practice, we often meditate on impermanence. We watch our breath, a constant reminder of change, coming and going. We watch our thoughts, rising, staying, dissolving. We learn slowly and gently that we can rest even as everything changes. When we let go of the wish for things to be permanent, we stop thinking so much about anyone. We live more lightly. Next time you feel stuck thinking about someone, what they did, what might happen, what could change, pause. Remind yourself, this too will change. Give thanks for the good moments. Give space for the sad ones. Let people and feelings move, just as clouds travel across the sky. With every breath, with every step, with every gentle word, you can practice letting go. Not because you do not care, but because caring is easier when you stop fighting with change. And if you forget and hold on tightly, as everyone sometimes does, be gentle with yourself. Remember, letting go is a practice, not an instant. Each time you see change, accept it and let it be. You grow a little calmer, a little wiser. So as we sit together, feel how the world is always changing. People change, feelings change, you change. There is pain in change, but also great beauty and freedom. When you see impermanence clearly, your heart becomes big enough to hold goodbyes, welcomes, joy and sadness, and you become less caught by thoughts about others, more peaceful in every part of your life. Part 11. Practicing compassion for yourself and others. Take a soft breath. Feel the way the air nourishes you without asking, how your body supports you without question. This is a small kindness. Your own breath, always returning, always holding space for you. In Buddhism, we learn that every living thing deserves kindness, and that includes you, just as you are. But often when we think too much about someone else, what they said, how they acted, what they feel, we start to forget to be kind to ourselves. Let's start with self-compassion. Many people are gentle to friends, but harsh with themselves. Have you noticed how the mind speaks? Why can't I stop thinking about them? I am too sensitive. I should be stronger, more peaceful, less. So many ways of judging. In Buddhism, we say, imagine how you would speak to a dear friend, a child, a small animal. Would you scold, or would you offer a warm word, a gentle hand? Self-compassion begins when you notice, I am struggling, I am hurting. Instead of running from pain, you pause and care for yourself, just as you would for someone you love. If your mind is busy remembering old words or hurts, you do not have to fight the thoughts nor blame yourself for their return. You simply say, this is hard. That's all. In that simple moment, you give yourself some space. Let's imagine you've been misunderstood by a friend. Your thoughts keep replaying the moment. You feel small, upset. Instead of pushing the feeling away or judging yourself, try placing your hand on your heart. Take a slow breath. Speak softly inside. May I be kind to myself in this moment. Buddhist compassion is not a luxury, it's the foundation of peace, a gentle ground to step on when life feels rough. Compassion for yourself does not mean letting yourself off the hook for bad behavior. It means you accept your humanness, your mistakes, your limits, your feelings. It is understanding that everyone, everywhere is learning, stumbling, growing, just like you. Now let's turn outward, compassion for others. Why does compassion help when you think too much about someone? Because often your thoughts are reactions to hurt, fear, jealousy, or longing. You get stuck wondering, why did they act this way? Why do I feel so bothered? Compassion lets you see that everyone is struggling. Each person fighting battles you cannot see, each one carrying old wounds, just as you do. If someone hurts you, Buddhist compassion teaches you to look deeper. What pain are they carrying? What fear makes them harsh or cold? This is not about excusing anyone's actions, but about seeing them as human. just as you hope to be seen. When you remember this, your thoughts soften. Instead of replaying hurts or building new stories, you find a bit of understanding, even for people who bring you pain. Zen stories often speak of the crying baby. If a baby cries, do you judge her? Do you hate her or punish her? Of course not. You see a small person, lost or frightened, needing comfort. In the same way, when you see someone act unkindly, you can learn to see their own baby, crying deep inside, wanting love and safety. Compassion is not weakness. It is the clear seeing that allows you to move through life without new hurts piling on your own heart. Here is a simple way to practice. When you catch yourself thinking too much about someone, maybe feeling hurt or defensive, pause. Imagine this person as a child, not yet shaped by worries or pride. Can you find a thread of tenderness, even for a moment? Can you wish for them what you wish for yourself? Peace, healing, ease. This is the seed of compassion. Let's talk about forgiveness, an act braided tightly with compassion. Many people think forgiveness is about the other, letting someone off the hook, forgetting what was done. In Buddhism, forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the weight of old pain. You do not have to accept bad behavior, but you can choose not to carry every stone of hurt forever. I forgive so that I can be free, Buddhist teachers say. Compassion, then, is an act of freedom for you and for others. Sometimes compassion faces a wall. You feel your pain is too big, the hurt too deep. That is natural. No one is asked to be a saint, but even in small ways, pausing before harsh words, offering a whisper of well-wishing, being patient with your own mind, you are practicing. Each effort is a step. There is a well-loved Buddhist practice called metta, or loving-kindness meditation. You sit quietly, picture yourself, then someone you like, then someone neutral, then someone you struggle with. For each you repeat, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you live with ease. If hurt feelings arise, you do not push them away. You just include them, making your circle wider gently. With each repetition, your heart grows softer, less interested in old arguments and more curious about healing. You can do this in a few breaths during your day, in a crowded room, in a quiet moment, even when you wake up or go to sleep. Each breath, a little light entering the darkness where thoughts become too tight. Compassion is radical in Buddhism because it includes everyone: self, friend, enemy, stranger, all beings. When you start to see that everyone suffers, that everyone is learning, you worry less about what others think or say. You see yourself as part of a great human family, each member wounded and wonderful. Sometimes people worry, if I am too compassionate, will others take advantage of me? Will I be weaker, less able to stand up for myself? Buddhism says no. Compassion is like water, soft, but able to wear away the hardest stone. With compassion, you remain strong, but not hard, kind but not foolish, clear but not cold. If you have trouble finding compassion, start with yourself. Each time you notice unhelpful thoughts about others, turn in your mind like turning toward the sun. Place your hand on your chest and whisper softly, "May I be free from this worry. May I find peace." Over time, you may find the words coming, "May they be free. May they find peace." In this way, your compassion spreads outward, dropping its heavy luggage along the way. Children are natural teachers. Watch how easily they forgive. An argument forgotten in minutes, a hug given soon after tears. Compassion is your natural state. Old pain and habits can cover it, but they do not erase it. With practice, with patience, it returns. As you move through your day, try this. When thoughts of someone trouble you and you begin to spin in worry or stories, pause and remember, they too want to be happy. You do not have to agree with them. You do not have to keep them close, but you can wish them ease. This is enough. It eases your own mind and loosens the tight knot of thinking. Let's close with a Zen teaching. When you draw water, nourish the roots. When you offer compassion to others, like water to a tree, you also nourish your own roots. You become more stable, more loving, less shaken by every gust of wind called what others did or said. Compassion, practiced daily, lets you live lighter and sleep easier, allowing the mind to let go of overthinking about anyone else. Every gentle thought, each moment of kindness, is like a pebble dropped in the pond, rippling outwards, making the whole world a little softer, a little less lonely. So rest in this wisdom. Every breath, every day, is another chance to be gentle, to yourself, to others, to every passing thought. Compassion is your quiet power. It is the path out of endless thinking into the spacious freedom of a heart at peace. Part 12. Breaking the Habit. Techniques from Buddhist Teachings. Sometimes the mind feels like an overgrown garden, tangled with vines of thoughts about someone else. What they did, what they meant, where they are. You wander in circles, never quite finding the way out. Yet every garden can be tended, cleared, and made new if you return with care, patience, and a few simple tools. Let's start with the heart of change, awareness. Before you can break any habit, you need to see that it's happening. In Buddhist practice, this first step is called recognition. Each time you notice your mind spinning, gently name it, thinking about them again. There is no blame in this, just soft light shining where it was dark. Imagine a bell ringing softly every time your thoughts return to a person. Each ding is an invitation, not to push the thought away or fight with it, but to see, I am in the habit again. Sometimes even just seeing the old pattern is enough to loosen its grip. The next step is pausing. There is a power in simply stopping, not rushing to solve, not arguing with the thought. Just stop. Find your breath. Buddhist monks often practice a pause breath. When the mind grows crowded, they take one slow breath, simply noticing the air, the feeling in the belly, and in that pause, the habit loses a little of its force. Another tool is substitution. Buddhism teaches that a habit can rarely be just erased. It often needs to be replaced with something better. If your mind returns to replaying someone's words, try choosing a simple mantra like, "This is just a thought," or "May I find peace." Whenever the old story returns, whisper your new words gently within yourself. With practice, the mind, like a stream, is slowly redirected. Let's try a little exercise right now. When you notice yourself thinking about a person, imagine them like a leaf floating down a river. Watch as the leaf drifts gently away, carried by the current of time and change. You do not need to grab it. You do not need to hold it under the water. Just let it float. Each time the leaf comes back, let it go again. Sometimes habits feel too strong for one breath or one gentle word. In these moments, movement can help. Buddhist walking meditation is a way to shift your energy and thought. Stand up, take slow steps, one foot after the other. Feel each touch of your foot to the ground. As you walk, whisper to yourself, "Here." Now just this step. Let your thoughts about others be like clouds that drift overhead, while your feet stay kindly on the earth. Zen teaches the use of gathas, short poems or reminders whenever a habit arises. You can make one for yourself. When the mind returns to old stories, let me return to my breath and remember the garden can always be made new. Another powerful technique is loving kindness, or metta. Whenever thoughts about someone trouble you, pause, place your hand on your heart, and send a quiet wish. May they be happy, may I be free. You do not have to feel love or warmth at first, just say the words. Over time, the habit of thinking softens. You grow less tangled and more space. You might worry, what if these thoughts never stop coming? What if the habit is too strong? Buddhism says, do not measure progress by how few thoughts you have, but by how kindly and how often you return. Each return, each softening is a moment of victory, like the sun rising after the longest night. Here's another tool from Buddhist tradition, changing the scenery. If you are stuck on a thought about someone for a long time, get up, move to another room, wash your face, open a window, change your position. This physical shift helps break the mind cycle, just as turning a page begins a new story. Self-compassion is a gentle medicine for tough habits. When you fall into old thinking, speak kindly to yourself. Everyone learns in their own time. I am growing step by step. Imagine your mind as a puppy learning to come when called. Sometimes it runs away, but each time you call gently, it learns a little more. Journaling can help too. Instead of letting thoughts chase each other in circles, take a paper and write. Here are my thoughts. Here are my worries. Pour them out. Sometimes, when you see them in black and white, the power they held in your mind grows smaller. You recognize that much of what you carry isn't needed. If you catch yourself ruminating often, set a worry time. Buddhist lay people sometimes say, I will give myself 10 minutes to think, then let it go and return to the day. When your mind wanders before or after worry time, remind yourself, not now, these thoughts can wait. By containing the habit, you give your mind permission to rest at other times. Zen gardens are sometimes raked clean with careful strokes. Each leaf that falls is gently removed, each line made straight, not for perfection, but as a practice of presence. When your mind tangles with thoughts of others, imagine you are gently raking your inner garden, making space with every stroke. In Buddhist temples, monks bow to each other as a way of letting go, showing respect and shifting attention. You can create your own version of this. When a thought about someone comes, bow your head quietly, even if only in your heart, and return to the moment. I recognize you, but you are not my master. Laughter can also break a habit. Buddhism, after all, holds great love for joy. When you notice your mind stuck on an old story, allow yourself a gentle smile. There goes my busy mind again. Sometimes humor is the sunlight that helps new flowers bloom in the garden of your thoughts. If none of these tools seems to work on a hard day, remember the Buddhist teaching. Begin again. There is never a final failure, only a chance to wake up and start anew, however many times you need. You might fear that letting go will mean forgetting what matters. Buddhism says you do not have to forget, only to stop holding so tightly. Everything and everyone changes, and letting go gives you the chance to greet each moment, each person, each feeling with a fresh and peaceful heart. Let's end with a small story. Once a student asked the master, "How do I stop these habits for good?" The master handed him a broom and said, "Sweep the floor." The student swept. After a while, the floor was clean, but dust began to settle from the air again. The master smiled. Sweep and sweep again. Practice is not about being done, but about coming back, always coming back. Like the student, sweep your mind gently, without anger. Each day you practice, even in small ways, you break a little of the old habit. Soon the garden grows lighter, your heart grows softer, and the world outside seems less tangled. In time, you will find more and more moments where you are simply here, free and at peace, not lost in thoughts about others, but alive in your own clear presence. This is the simple magic of Buddhist technique, not grand tricks, but many tiny returns. Let each be gentle. Trust the practice. Your mind and heart can always begin anew, and bit by bit, the old habit loses its hold. Part 13, Transforming Thoughts. From rumination to clarity. Let's begin with a single step. Notice how one thought leads to another. Once, long ago, maybe you felt hurt by something a person said. Your mind replayed it again and again. Why did they do this? What does it mean? Is it my fault? This replay is what Buddhists call rumination, turning the same thought over and over, like spinning a pebble in your hand until your fingers hurt. Buddhism teaches, thoughts are not enemies, nor are they all true. They rise and fall like waves on a calm sea. Rumination, however, is when one wave crashes, then another, and you forget to notice the space between the waves, the calm. Think for a moment. When have your thoughts helped you, and when have they only made the heart heavier? Sometimes we think we are solving a problem, but really we are just turning in circles. It's as if you are lost in a forest and keep walking the same path, always ending up at the same tree. The forest is your mind, and the repeated path is your old story about someone. Why they did what they did, why you felt left out, why peace won't come. In Zen, the first step to clarity is to see that you are circling. If you notice, here I am, turning the same thought again, you have made the invisible visible. This is a victory already, a small lantern in your hand. How to make a change? Start simply. Next time you find yourself repeating a thought about someone, pause. Breathe in. See if you can name what is happening. This is rumination. You do not judge or blame yourself. You simply notice. Then ask, is this thought helping, or is it just noise? Many times, just naming a thought lessens its grip. Buddhism teaches another gentle practice, shifting the spotlight. When your mind is caught on one person, one word, ask yourself, what else is true in this moment? Maybe the sun is shining on your face. Maybe your feet can feel the floor, your lungs the soft breath of life. Shift the mind even for a second from story to sensation. Every shift is a doorway from rumination to clarity. Now let's use an image. Imagine a muddy pond. If you keep poking the water, the mud never settles. But if you stop, breathe, and wait, the mud gently falls and clear water appears. Your mind is like this. Rumination stirs the mud. Clarity lets it settle. There is a Zen saying, don't add wood to the fire. When you find yourself replaying conversations or hurts, ask if you are feeding the fire. If so, try stepping back. Let the mind cool. You might feel uncomfortable at first, silence instead of the usual noise, but soon you notice a fresh kind of peace growing. Another tool is your breath. In Buddhism, breath is a magic key. When you worry, breathe in slowly. Say quietly, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I let go of this thought. Repeat as many times as you need. The breath burrows a path through the jungle of rumination, gently leading you out. Ask yourself, what is true right now? Often rumination is about the past or the future. Clarity is about the present. You cannot change old words nor control what someone else will do, but you can choose what you do with your mind at this moment. In Buddhism, this is true power. Let's share a story. Once a monk was troubled by memories of an old friend. Each day, thoughts of misunderstanding and loss filled his mind, clouding his meditation. He went to the Zen master and said, "My mind is like a thunderstorm. I want quiet, but I get only thunder." The master poured a cup of tea and handed it to the monk, saying, "Taste what is warm and real." The monk sipped, felt the heat, noticed the flavor. In that small moment, the storm lessened. The practice is not about forcing quiet, but about tasting the real right here. Sometimes rumination comes from wanting things to be different. You replay how you wish someone would act, or what you wish you had said. Zen asks you, can you let things be as they are, even if it is uncomfortable for a while? Acceptance is not resignation. It is making space inside for now, so the mind can rest and the heart can heal. Here is another Zen trick, curiosity. Instead of spinning the same thought, ask the mind, what happens if I do not chase this? For some, this means sitting and letting the feeling of discomfort come and go. For others, it is moving, taking a walk, washing your hands, looking at the sky. Each act brings you back out of the storm into the steady earth of the present. See if you can find humor too. When your mind chews on old thoughts, say lightly, "Ah, here is my mind, busy again, just doing its job." Smile. The smile is a small stone thrown into the pond. The ripples break the old habit. Sometimes what we really need is simple kindness. If you find yourself stuck thinking about someone again and again, put your hand on your heart and whisper, "It's okay. I'm learning to let go." In time, the thoughts lose their edge. You grow softer, and so does your memory of the pain. Write thoughts down if they trouble you. In Buddhism, writing is a form of meditation. Pour out what's inside, then set the paper aside. When the mind sees its old worries outside itself, they often seem less scary, less important. Zen masters sometimes recommend a worry box. If a thought about someone keeps coming, write it down and put it in a special box. Tell yourself, I can think about this later, if I really need to. By choosing when to think, you train your mind that not every rumination deserves your full attention. Remember too, thoughts are not orders. Buddhists teach, thoughts are visitors, not rulers. Just because you have a thought does not mean you must obey it. Let thoughts come and go without needing to act or react. The clouds roll by. The sky remains clear and vast. Let's finish this part with a gentle practice. Each day when you catch yourself spinning a thought about someone, pause, ask, is this a helpful thought or just a turn of the wheel? Thank the thought for visiting and invite your mind back to now. Again and again, as many times as you need, as gently as you would wake a sleeping child. In time, thoughts about others will come less often. When they do, they will feel lighter, easier, like leaves blowing on a kind wind. Where before there was heaviness and confusion, now there is a deeper understanding and peace. You find yourself clearer, kinder, more at home with yourself, and less troubled by what others do or say. This is the magic of transformation in Buddhism. You do not fight your mind. You do not try to be perfect. You simply notice, pause, shift, and return. Rumination becomes clarity. Heaviness becomes light. Suffering becomes the door to gentle wisdom. As your Zen guide, I remind you The power to change your thinking is always within you. Every thought is a chance to begin again, not perfectly, but honestly and with heart. Each small step opens a path to freedom. This is your journey, one gentle breath at a time. Part 14, How to Deal with Difficult People Mindfully. Let's start with honesty. Everyone meets difficult people. It may be a friend, a neighbor, a teacher, a family member, or even a stranger in the street. Sometimes this person is harsh with words, always complaining, never satisfied, or always seems to misunderstand you. You might feel anger, hurt, frustration, or deep sadness in their presence. The mind wants to fix, avoid, or argue. But Buddhism says stop, breathe, and learn to see with new eyes. Imagine a pond at sunrise, still, quiet, reflecting the world. Now imagine someone throws a stone into the pond. The ripples spread and the reflection breaks. When a difficult person says something hard, it is like that stone. Your thoughts and feelings ripple out. Anger, self-defense, old stories, new worries. But just like the pond, the water will become calm again if you let it and do not keep throwing new stones. The first step is noticing your own reaction. Mindfulness means you see, I feel hurt by those words, or I am angry. You do not blame or judge yourself. You simply bow to the feeling, like bowing to a guest. This gentle awareness gives you space. Space is the magic in any difficult situation. It allows you to respond instead of just react. Why are some people difficult? Buddhism teaches that every angry or harsh person is suffering inside, just as you sometimes suffer. Maybe they feel alone, scared, or unseen. Their sharp words are like a dog's bark when afraid. If you listen deeply, you might sense the pain behind the bark, pain that, given time, you too have felt. Next, notice what happens inside you. Do you tighten your jaw, clench your fists, shrink, or want to speak back? As soon as you notice, take a breath. Even one breath breaks the pattern. For a moment, you are not the story in your head or the feeling in your body. You are bigger than both. Buddhist wisdom offers a practice called loving kindness, or metta. Quietly in your mind, offer simple wishes, even while a difficult person is near. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be free from suffering. You do not need to say these words out loud. You do not even have to feel warm toward the person at first. Just let the words be a bridge, softening your own heart and reminding you that this person too is a struggling human being. Let's talk about boundaries. Mindfulness does not mean you let people hurt you over and over. Buddhism teaches compassion, but also wisdom. If someone is always harsh, it is wise to protect your own peace by stepping away if you need, by speaking kindly but firmly, by taking rests. Imagine a garden. You care for flowers, but you also build a fence to keep out the wild animals. That is not anger, it is self-kindness. Sometimes you may want to help a difficult person change. You offer advice, plead, or grow upset when they do not listen. Buddhist teaching is gentle here. You cannot make anyone change who does not want to. You plant seeds of kindness and wisdom, but each seed grows in its own time, sometimes not at all. This is not failure, it is life. When a difficult person is present, try meeting them with curiosity instead of certainty. Instead of saying in your mind, "He is always like this," try, "I wonder what pain lies beneath these words." If you cannot see anything but anger, remember, you do not have to solve every problem or answer every insult. Sometimes silence is powerful. Sometimes a simple "I understand" is enough. It is easy to think, if only this person would change, I could be at peace. Buddhism teaches real peace is not waiting for the world to be easy. It is learning to rest in your own heart, no matter the storm around you. Practice listening. When you listen with your full presence, not trying to fix or defend, sometimes the other person softens. If they do not, you still gain freedom. You no longer carry their story as your burden. You can simply listen, breathe, and let go. A powerful teaching in Zen is that words are only words. Someone's anger or judgment cannot reach into your core unless you invite it in. Imagine a cloak around your heart when difficult words fly. You hear them, you notice their effect, but you do not wear every word as your own. Let's use an image. A mountain. The mountain stands through storms, wind, rain, and sun. People come, people go. Some shout, some praise, some stay silent. The mountain remains. When a difficult person approaches, can you practice being like the mountain? Grounded, steady, not swayed by every mood or word? Not cold or unmoving, but certain in your own worth and kindness. Another practice. When you know you will meet a difficult person, prepare your heart. Before you see them, sit quietly. Place your hand on your heart and repeat, I will stay kind. I will not let anger win. I will listen to my needs with respect. This pre-paving helps you walk into the situation with calm and presence. Remember, not every battle is worth fighting. In Buddhist stories, the wise monk sometimes lets harsh words pass, like wind through an open window. You do not have to respond to every criticism or defend yourself every time. Sometimes the best answer is no answer. The best effort is to release. If after being with a difficult person, you feel heavy or tired, take time to rest and return to yourself. Go for a walk, write in a journal, watch the sky. Let their energy slip away until you find your peace again. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It means you no longer let someone else's actions rule your heart. Forgiving does not mean you forget or accept the behavior as right. It means you refuse to make your own mind a prison for old pain. Buddhism teaches the story of the two arrows. The first arrow is pain, the difficult words, the harsh action. The second arrow is suffering, what you do to yourself afterward, replaying the event, growing angry or sad. You may not control the first arrow, but you can choose not to shoot the second. When you find yourself thinking about a difficult person, gently put down the second arrow. Breathe. Come back to now. Here is a practice you can do anytime. When you feel your heart clench around a difficult person, pause, close your eyes if you wish, and repeat, this too is human. May we both find peace. The words make a path inside you where old tightness can loosen. There will be days when nothing works, when you react, feel upset, or wish things were different. It's okay. This is called being human. Buddhism says, begin again. Each day, each moment is a fresh chance to practice calm, kindness, and letting go. Let's close with a story. A Zen master carried a heavy bag every day. One person complained that the master should put the bag down. The master replied, when I choose not to carry other people's anger, my own bag becomes light. In life, we all carry bags. Our worries, dreams, mistakes, memories. But we can choose which ones to set down and which ones to keep. In the end, dealing with difficult people is less about them and more about your own presence, choice, and heart. When you are gentle with yourself, when you see the pain behind other people's harshness, when you listen without taking everything inside, peace grows. It grows quietly day by day until the difficult people of yesterday have less power over your today. This is how Buddhist and Zen wisdom helps you, not by changing every person or making the world soft, but by helping your mind and heart grow steady, open, and free. If you stumble, begin again. If you forget, return to your breath. Each day there will be new storms and new sunlight, but your own peace remains, like the mountain on the horizon, always waiting for you to rest within it. Part 15. Small daily practices for a calm mind. First, let us remember, the mind is like a garden. What you plant and how you take care of it shapes what will grow. If you water worry, more worry comes up. If you plant seeds of calm, patience, and kindness, your days grow softer no matter what others do or say. You do not have to pull out every weed at once. Just begin with one little practice, then another, until your mind becomes a friendlier place to live. Let's start the day with a gentle morning ritual. Before you look at your phone or rush into thoughts about your to-do list, simply sit up, breathe in and out. Feel your body waking up, the air moving into your nose, the light or darkness in the room. Whisper quietly, "May I meet this day with ease." This tiny moment sets the tone, a promise to be gentle with yourself. Next, notice your breath throughout the day. Your breath is always with you, a soft anchor in any storm. At random times, pause, maybe while washing your hands, waiting in line, hearing a bird sing. Notice how you are breathing. Slow it down, feeling each inhale and exhale. Zen monks say this is like ringing a bell of presence. Each breath brings you back home. Even a few slow breaths can soften the busiest, noisiest mind. When thoughts about someone start to swirl, perhaps worries, doubts, or old stories, don't rush to fight them. Instead, name what is happening. Ah, there is the old story again. Give yourself a gentle smile inside. The simple act of naming creates space. The thought loses its grip, like a tight knot that begins to loosen. Include gratitude in your practice. Each evening, think of 3 small things that brought some softness to your day. A smile, a delicious meal, a kind word, even a moment of silence. Gratitude shines light in what is good, so worries about others cannot take over every corner. You might write your gratitudes in a small notebook, or simply say them in your mind before sleep. Try mindful walking, even a few steps. As you walk from one room to another, bring all your attention to your feet touching the floor, your body moving, your breathing. If thoughts about people come back, just notice them and return to the steps. Each step is a gentle return to now. In Zen, walking this way is known as kinhin, a moving meditation, grounding the mind in each simple action. Notice when your body is tense. Many times thinking too much about others ties your body into knots. Shoulders up, jaw tight, stomach clenched. When you feel this, pause. Take a slow breath. Lower your shoulders, release your jaw. Let your hands fall softly. This practice is like untangling little knots every day, so they never grow into big tangles. Use ordinary tasks as moments of calm. Washing dishes, folding laundry, brushing your teeth. Do these slowly with full attention. Feel the warmth of water, the sound of bubbles, the touch of fabric. Let your mind rest from thinking about others, and instead just notice what your hands are doing. With each tiny mindful act, your inner world grows more peaceful. Practice listening, not just to others, but to yourself. When you are upset or restless, sit quietly and listen to what your heart is saying. Maybe it wants kindness, maybe rest, maybe a walk outside. The more you listen to yourself with care, the less you are distracted by what others might think or say. In the middle of your day, take a pause minute. Close your eyes or gaze softly ahead. Breathe. Let your thoughts settle. Feel your body on the chair or floor. Even 60 seconds of this stillness refreshes your mind, like sipping cool water after a long walk. If you find yourself worrying about someone or replaying old conversations, try writing your thoughts down on paper. Let them flow out without judging. After writing, take a breath and set the paper aside. The act of putting your thoughts outside your mind often makes them smaller, lighter, less tangled. Be gentle with your technology. Before you reach for your device, pause. Ask, do I really need to look right now? Am I searching to distract myself from uncomfortable thoughts about someone? If so, offer yourself kindness instead. A few breaths, a look at the sky, a sip of tea. End your day with a soft release ritual. As you lie in bed, take a deep breath. Say quietly, today is done. I let go. Imagine the worries about others floating away, like little boats carried on a gentle stream. Trust that you can rest. Tomorrow is a new day. Connect with nature, if only for a moment. Step outside, feel the sun or the wind. Look at a tree or sky. Listen for birds. Nature offers a calm that needs no words, no stories. It is simply present, teaching you, with every leaf and cloud, how to be peaceful here and now. A powerful practice is metta, or loving kindness, for yourself and for others. For a few minutes, close your eyes and repeat softly in your mind, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from thinking too much. Then if you can, send these wishes gently to others. May they be happy, peaceful, and free. This grows kindness inside you, making your mind a softer home. If you stumble, if some days your mind is full of old stories or fresh worries, remember, you are learning just as everyone is. In Buddhism, each day is a new beginning. There is no failure in trying. Each breath, each gentle return is a step on the path. Remember too that small daily practices are not meant to stop all thoughts. The mind will always think, just as the heart always beats. The gift of practice is that you learn to choose where you place your attention and how you care for your own peace. With time, thinking too much about anyone loses its power. You become the calm in the center of your own life. Let's finish with a quiet image. Imagine planting a tiny seed in the ground each morning, one of patience or gratitude or kindness. With water and light, the seed grows roots and shoots, and slowly it becomes a living plant. In the same way, each small practice you do builds a garden of calm within you, a sanctuary where peace, not worry, is the strongest presence. So as you move through your day, carry these gentle practices with you. When thoughts return, as they always will, you can meet them with calm, breathe softly, and turn back again to the present. Let your life be simple, your steps light, and your heart free. This is the way of Zen, little by little, practice by practice. Your mind finds peace that no one else can take away. Conclusion: embracing freedom from thought with CTA. Take one deep breath right now. Let it fill you. Let it go. Imagine laying down a heavy bag you've carried for years. Feel how your shoulders drop, your chest opens, your face eases. That bag is a habit of thinking too much about others. The old stories, burdens, questions, and worries that weighed you down for so long. The miracle is, you are free to set it down, right here, today. The journey we walk together, through parables, small practices, gentle mindfulness, honest reflection, has brought you home. Not to a perfect mind, but to a kind mind. Not empty of thought, but full of gentle awareness. You have learned step by step to notice when you are lost in stories about someone else and how to guide yourself softly back to the breath, to gratitude, to presence, to the wisdom of letting go. Buddhism teaches that true freedom is not found by controlling the world or the people around us, but by becoming friends with our own mind. The river of thought will always flow, but you now know how to stand on the bank, waving to your thoughts as they pass, no longer needing to chase each boat or fall into each wave. You are not the river. You are the sky above it and the ground beneath it. Non-attachment isn't coldness. It's the miracle of loving without needing to possess, of caring without forgetting yourself, of being present without being tangled. You have learned to hold memories, feelings, and people gently in open hands, rather than gripping so tightly that joy disappears. You now know truly that you are whole, a complete and gentle being, even if others do not see or return your kindness. There is a freedom found in forgiveness, not as a gift to someone else, but as a release for your own heart. You have learned that by no longer carrying every imagined slight or old hurt, you become lighter. Old pains thin, worries soften, and slowly, there is more space for joy, kindness, and peace. The small daily practices, the mindful breaths and gentle self-talk have taught your heart to root in calmness. You know now, happiness need not wait for anyone's approval, anyone's reply, anyone's change. Peace is here, in sitting quietly, in feeling the sun, in simply being alive as yourself. Remember the stories. The monk who let the woman down, the leaf on the river, the mountain in the wind, the child returning to play after tears. These parables live inside you now, reminders that every storm passes, every wound can heal, and presence is stronger than any fear. Letting go is not once and done. It is a practice. Some days the mind will return to old paths, and that's okay. The wisdom you carry is simple. Notice, remember, come back to now. Each return is a step in freedom, a little celebration of your own growth. Before you go, remember this. Nothing in this world stays forever. Not people, not feelings, not even habits. You have learned to meet change with kindness, to accept what comes, to let what goes, go. You have touched the heart of non-attachment, found the power in your own awareness, and learned to be deeply, kindly present. So now as we finish, I thank you. With each word, each breath, each moment we have shared. As your Zen master and as your friend in wisdom, I invite you into a little action that helps this circle grow. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, for the growth of peace and kindness in our world, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Wisdom Woven. Your one small gesture can bring gentle wisdom to those still searching, just as you once were. Before you go, let's sit together in silence, just for a breath or two. Feel your body, feel your gentle heart. Trust deeply that you have everything you need inside you, a wisdom waiting like quiet spring after a long winter. Whenever you lose your way, this wisdom will call you back, softly, kindly, gently. Let go. Rest. Begin again. Thank you for walking this long path. Thank you for returning again and again to yourself and to this gentle teaching. As you step forward, may you be peaceful, may you be free, may you remember always. Thoughts will come and go, but your peace is yours to keep. And don't forget, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Let's build a community of kind hearts together. Go gently, live fully, and trust the wisdom blooming quietly within you now.